Welcome back into that Sean podcast. It's been a minute, but we didn't forget about you. We didn't forget at all. Just taking some time, relax. No, not relax. No, we had to deal with life. Life comes around, and you got to deal with life. My co-host here, Mr. Cat Daddy. You still living, Cat Daddy?
Hey,
what's on your mind?
Another day above ground. All right.
Ain't that the truth? So, what's on your mind, Cat Daddy?
All right. Well, I mean, it's been a minute, but if you're listening, if you're watching, you didn't come here for us to talk about the NBA Finals. You didn't come here for us to talk about the NBA Draft, the USFL playoffs.
The NBA Draft happened?
Stranger Things talk, Top Gun 2 talk,
hey,
Forbidden Door recap. You didn't come here for us to talk about all of that. So even though it's only the preseason, we still got some content for you, and you know the drill. Come in, take off your shoes, make yourself at home.
All right, so that being said, I am going to talk about some of that other stuff. Not Top Gun or Stranger Things, even though, those are good stuff. But what I am actually going to speak about, just want to throw this out there just for the people, for the people. So, as Cat Daddy over here can attest, I'm a fan of many different teams. It's because I don't have a place that I call necessarily true home. So, I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. I am a Atlanta Braves fan in baseball. I'm a LA Lakers fan in basketball, and I am a Colorado Avalanche fan in hockey. You can ask Cat Daddy over here. It's been that way for many odd years. This is not a fair weather situation.
He's not hopping on bandwagons.
That being
it's not
said,
coincidental. He's rooting for all the champions.
It's not coincidental at all. Okay, come on, stop that nonsense. Anyways, so I mentioned this because there's a trend I noticed with my teams, and what that trend is. 2 years ago, I watched my LA Lakers win the NBA championship. Then last year, I watched my Atlanta Braves win the World Series. And just recently, I just watched my Colorado Avalanche win the Stanley Cup. I got one more team that needs to win something next year. I'm not saying that, it's preordained for my teams to make this happen. I'm just saying I'm sensing a trend.
I don't know. What kind of deal did you make with the devil to get this to happen? What did you have to give up?
Hey, I do not disclose those types of business arrangements. But you have to say.
So do I have enough time to get you to switch over to being a Packer fan before next season? Is that how it works?
I don't know. Maybe. But that is odd, don't you think?
It's odd, lucky, and enjoy it while you can. I know basketball. I haven't watched a long time, but favorite team is the Bulls. And they haven't won in a minute. That's been since the 90s. And then you have the White Sox, my favorite baseball team. That was, 2005. They won the World Series.
But you've seen them win?
And then football, Packers. They won in 2011. The hockey, I never really followed hockey. So...
Yeah, well, Wisconsin.
It's been longer periods of time between my victories.
You would have considered yourself a Blackhawks fan, right? You would have considered yourself.
Probably Carolina Hurricane.
Oh, interesting.
And I think they won a championship somewhere. I think they won in the 2000s.
I can check that. And I know this is a football show, but hey, why not?
It's been a while. We got to get the people back in, comfortable with us. It's like we're just meeting again for the first time. Again.
Reunited and it feels so good. I should know. 2006, I think it is here.
Okay, so it was right after the White Sox won the World Series.
2006 beat the Edmonton Oilers. Always beating them Canadian teams, huh? All right, but now we're going to jump into what you really came to hear. Is that football talk? So, Cat Daddy, let's start with some news. It's been a little bit.
Man, it's been a couple of weeks. We got a bunch of news. We'll go by as chronologically as we can. That's gonna be the goal. So it starts off that we have a couple of retirements.
Did we?
We have Alex Mack. I believe he was last with San Francisco. He
Good
retired. Stephon Tuitt, last with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He retired. And most recently, and probably the most high profile, we have Rob Gronkowski retiring for the second time.
Indeed.
Last one was like a year. So we'll see how long this one lasts. We'll see how long it takes Tom Brady to give him a call to get back onto the field. You know he's going to be ready. You know he's going to be in shape. We'll see. So, are you surprised by any of those retirements?
No, not really. Stephon Tuitt maybe, but...
Yeah, I think Tuitt, just because I think he was still in his 20s. But he decided to go on his own terms. Mack and Gronkowski, they were a little bit on the older side.
And I mean,
so you're expecting retirement.
Tasting, you know, he likes that off season, you know. he enjoys himself.
We'll see if his retirement lasts longer than Tom Brady's retirements. What was it, 40 days?
This goes with it, but and I know this is in chronological order here, but we did have an unfortunate passing. Who was it?
Oh, I think we had more than one. No.
Very young player was on the
Baltimore Ravens.
Ferguson, yeah. Jalen Ferguson.
Sack Daddy, yeah.
For a very unfortunate passing.
And Tony Siragusa.
Yes.
The Goose.
Yes, but I mean, Tony, unfortunate, but Tony was a little bit older. What was he, 55?
That's still young.
It is young, but it's not 26, which was...
no, it's not.
Jalen Ferguson.
Yeah.
All right, moving on from the sad stuff, what we got next?
All right, we have the Los Angeles Rams proving to the world that the cap truly does not exist.
Oh, then it's going to catch up. It's one day it's going to catch up. We know this.
It starts with Aaron Donald. The Rams just went ahead and they backed up the Brinks truck and they dropped all the money in front of Aaron Donald. So he will not be retiring because he successfully used his retirement talk as a way to force the Rams to dig very, very, very deep into their pockets and continue to ignore future cap. So the Rams and Aaron Donald agree to contract restructure that's giving him massive $40 million raise for a total of $95 million over the next 3 years. He now tops Tyreek Hill as the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. In NFL history, he's averaging like $31.67 million per year.
Let's be clear, though. Let's be clear. Oh, well, go ahead, get the next one in.
Get the next one in. All right. Cooper Kupp's extension. So another offseason move that proves the cap is just a myth.
It is not a myth.
It doesn't exist. I know, but it's just funny seeing what the Rams are doing. So the Rams extends Cooper Kupp coming off this Triple Crown season. The extension is 3 years, $80 million, but it's worth adding to his existing contract makes it a 5-year, $110 million deal. So he's averaging about $22 million per year.
I'm just saying, I'm pulling something up here. Here's the thing. I get it. Most people see what the Rams do, and they're like, oh, see, the cap doesn't exist. Yada, yada, yada. Look at what a team can do. Here's the thing. It's going to get to a point where the Rams can't get new players in. Because at some point, one of these players is going to retire or have to go to another team or something. Something's going to happen. And all that cap that doesn't exist somewhere, something's gonna happen. They're not gonna be like let's look at this. Next year, they're already over the cap. Yeah, okay, maybe that comes down, but they got players that they're gonna have to sign next year. They got a ton of players that are gonna have some interesting situations. I mean, they could release a bunch of players.
Releasing is not always going to be the solution. I mean, you're looking at next year's cap numbers, according to Over the Cap for the Rams. I'm seeing 5 guys who are scheduled to make over $20 million. Aaron Donald scheduled to count 26 against the cap. Jalen Ramsey 25 plus. Cooper Kupp close to 28. Stafford 20. Leonard Floyd 22. That's a lot of money going to 5 guys.
There's a lot of money there.
It is, and a lot of those guys would result in negative cap space if they got cuts. There would be no savings.
Hit there.
Yeah.
No.
And the way that these teams structure contracts, they can either front load them to take advantage of the cap space they have right away, or they can back load them to, as we say, kick the can further down the road, give them at least a couple of years to find a solution to the problem. And what we see during the off season would be players restructuring, where they take some of that prorated bonus and spread it out.
Looking at it here, so they've got more cap space left this year than 2024 they'll have 7 to 8 million in cap space. Like, their cap space, even if they start kicking the can, because it's looking rough.
You're thinking, we're looking at 24. They have 7 to 8 million in cap space currently, but they only have 43 people under contract counting against the cap, so it's not even a full roster. You gotta set aside like a couple $1 million for your rookies at least, but they're trading their draft picks left and right. So
it's just like players under contract right now, 91. Next year, they have 50. They have 63, so that's enough to field the team.
Yep.
And then, like you said, 43 it's going to catch up. Now, note, will it catch up in their Super Bowl window? Probably not. But once this window closes, they will probably be honestly in purgatory for a while. They're going to have to figure out how to climb out in some way.
You just got to hit a reset button, because you're thinking Aaron Donald he got the extension, but is he going to play all of the years? Matthew Stafford, is he going to play all of the years? Depends on how long the people are going to be around, but Rams fans, enjoy this while you can. You're winning now. You're on top of the mountain. Enjoy it.
And at the same time,
I do think there's going to be a reset coming in the next couple of years.
And at the same time, your division's weak. Let's be honest. Everybody thought the division was strong. It's not. We know what we feel about Arizona. Both of us have the same feeling. Seattle, Drew Lock, enough said. And then San Francisco's got quarterback. Who you start? Jimmy G? And Debo's disgruntled. So they're the cream of the crop in their division right now.
They are. They are in the win now mode, but that's been their mode for the last how many years?
Right. So
at some point it's going to end. Enjoy it while you can. It's going to be a good ride while it lasts.
All right, so what we got next?
All right. Next, we have quarterback comparisons. During the offseason, we saw several high-profile wide receivers change teams.
Oh, you want to
and they were going to be bound. They were bound to be asked questions about
this is not a story.
But it's funny. And the only reason we're talking about it now is because this is really peak off-season news. So reporters, they try and get those hot takes. They try and get those clips.
By the way, I agree
to get
with
the
clicks.
Story. So
I agree with what he said. I completely agree with what he said. You go ahead, though.
So, I have 3 to talk about.
Okay.
First one, we have Davante Adams, who had the biggest lie of the offseason.
Oh no,
well,
I don't.
Second biggest lie. He had the second biggest lie. We'll get to the biggest one.
Davante Adams, I don't at all.
Davante Adams says, as far as talent and ability, it's really similar if I'm keeping it real. I get why he said it, right? He can't say anything that would be considered a slight toward either quarterback. He played with Aaron Rodgers, who is phenomenal. And he's playing now with Derek Carr, who he used to play with in college. They're friends, they're buds. And you have to build some confidence in your quarterback, your team, your fan base.
I have a question.
But it's just not true.
I have a question. Why does it look like Derek Carr is wearing eyeliner every time I see him on the field? I'm just wondering.
It does look that way. It does look that way.
I'm just wondering, like, is it part of his style? I'm not knocking the man's style. I'm just, it just kind of looked kind of weird. Just being honest. Just like currently Aaron Rodgers looks like he just got out of chemo. Just saying, like, it looks as bad as the Crypt Keeper over there. Jesus. Sorry, everyone.
But comparing the quarterbacks, it's just absolutely not true. Derek Carr has been to 3 Pro Bowls. Aaron Rodgers has won 4 MVP awards. They're not the same, but I get why he said it. He has to talk up his new quarterback. I don't have a problem with that one because they played together at Fresno State.
I do.
Now, the next 2 for me are a little questionable at the moment because
one of them I agree with. One of them I full-fledged agree with.
They've only shared passes in camp, in practice.
No. So one of these is actually more reasonable than the Derek Carr one. All right, but go.
Yep. Yeah. Next, we have Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who I imagine was not going to fall for any clickbait or provide bulletin board material when he said, "There's not much of a difference. One is just a little bit older." Okay.
Excuse you?
Okay. But again, you've only had practice receptions, no in-game stuff with them. Okay.
Excuse you.
Third one.
This is the one I agree with.
And paraphrasing, Patrick Mahomes has a stronger arm, but Tua Tagovailoa has a more accurate arm. And when he was asked which of the 2 styles he would prefer, the deep style of Patrick Mahomes or the accurate style of Tua, he answered, "I want it to hit me right in the breadbasket, just like it in the Buffalo Bills game, and I take it 70 yards, and the rest is history."
No, all right. But let's, to be fair, he said, he went through and he said there's differences between the 2. He said the only thing that Tua may do better than Patrick Mahomes is that he may be more accurate. That's what he said. And let's be honest, that's probably true.
Probably is.
Like Patrick Mahomes, for all the great, like his arm strength, there are times that accuracy is a little off. Let's be honest. Ask Travis Kelce as he's stretching out and getting killed after getting hit after a couple of those times. I've seen Tyreek Hill have to climb the ladder 10 feet in the air to go get a pass. I'm not, no one's saying that Tua is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
He may be more accurate at times than Patrick Mahomes. It's like back in the day. Let me think. 2 quarterbacks that I can think of. All right. Brett Favre and Chad Pennington. Brett Favre, by all accounts, was better everywhere except Pennington was probably a more accurate quarterback at times. Is that a accurate statement or not?
That's fair.
So that's pretty much almost the comparison we're making right here. I mean, I think Tua has a chance to be better than Chad Pennington, but you get what I'm saying.
I know, but what makes it questionable for me is it's just practice with these guys.
I get it.
There's been no in-game yet. There's none of that.
I get it, but when you get these dudes and the juices are flowing, this is after practice. The juices have been flowing. They talking mess. They're talking nonsense. That's not the word I would normally use, but his mother's watching. That's all I'm saying. Like, but at the same time, I understand Tariq's thing. Yes, he feels with the confidence in his legs and his speed, he can outrun everybody. So he'd rather have the not run downfield and hope that like he can track that ball in the air, because that's difficult. That they've said that's one of the most difficult things to do as a receiver is track the ball and do the overhand thing and hope the ball gets there, hope the ball's not overthrown, instead of having the ball hit him right in the numbers and just boom, let me hit on those after jets.
And since we were on the topic of quarterbacks, in other Aaron Rodgers related news,
oh Lord,
Aaron Rodgers was asked if he would finish his career and retire as a member of the Packers, to which he responded yes, definitely. So, there you go. Aaron Rodgers will never leave Green Bay. He's going to retire a Packer.
Next year.
And Aaron Rodgers is rumored to have a new girlfriend who goes by the name Blue.
I've heard of her.
Who recently said, "I do not identify as a witch." Which is exactly what a witch would say. So,
yeah,
with or without any witchcraft on our side, it looks like the Packers will be Super Bowl champions this year. So that will be fantastic.
I told you about the trend, my guy.
Well, you said next year for the Cowboys, which is fine because this year Aaron Rodgers has his witch girlfriend, and we're going to win the Super Bowl
the Super Bowl in 2023.
Oh, that's Super Bowl. So the season's Super Bowl.
Right, right. Because remember, the Avalanche, their season was last year.
Okay, I got you. But you have to go against the Packers and their witchcraft, so
yeah,
that's gonna be hard to go against.
That's okay. I bet on the Texas Billionaire.
I mean, Roger Goodell should just cancel the season now and award the Packers the title. That's
that's not what should happen.
No. Yeah. All right.
Speaking of that, though, if you want to go there, some more quarterback news. So it looks like
that one.
some rumors I'm hearing out of the Cowboys camp. Dak Prescott's fully healed, and the Cowboys are going to be, for you fantasy people out there, the Cowboys are playing some more design QB runs with Dak this year. Ooh. And Dak apparently has been getting some good rapport with his new receivers. Just food for thought there.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, just throwing it out there. What's your next bit of news?
All right. So speaking of wide receivers, again, I mean, this is like a wide receiver dominant series we have here.
It's the way of the league right now.
I know. The Washington football team has inked Terry McLaurin to a 3-year extension worth up to $71 million. So if he receives everything, he'll be making about $23.67 million per year. 28 of it's guaranteed. Wise move by Washington, by the football team. Absolutely wise move. Well, maybe you really like Sam Howell.
Maybe. Yeah, place is such a dumpster fire, man. Do you hear about? Also, there's more Washington news. Dan Snyder refusing a subpoena, right?
I don't know if he is subpoenaed, but he refused to testify for fear of incriminating himself.
Wow, bruh. When can we take this man's team from him?
I know it doesn't necessarily show that he's guilty, but it kind of makes it look like he's guilty.
Doesn't show.
So, I mean, you can't use that as any type of proof that he is guilty, but it looks really bad. Really bad on him.
There's too much. We're not even talking about smoke and fire. We're talking about there's too much actual stuff that's happened here.
I'm surprised I haven't had the vote yet on whether to get him out of ownership.
I'm sorry. When it starts up here, like, there's too much that's happened for this to not know? Your stadium is falling apart. Your cheerleaders were being used as sex objects on and off the field. Your bench warmers don't even work.
Your defensive line fights on the sidelines.
Right, your toilets don't work. I've heard about
You're
that.
You're skimming ticket sales.
Like, and not to mention your team. What? How long has it been since your team? Like, how many playoff games? Everybody wants to talk about the Cowboys. How many playoff games has Washington won in the last 20 years? Your team is a dumpster fire. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not to get passionate about it because, you know, I don't want Washington to be good, but I feel bad for their fan base.
You know, if they need a new team to root for, there's the Cowboys, there's the Packers. There's a lot of options out there. There's 31 other options they can look into.
Baltimore's right up the street.
Yeah, you want to go local.
All right. Yeah. Anything else you got for us?
So with McLaurin's extension, I believe that leaves DK Metcalf and Deebo Samuel as wide receivers waiting for extensions. Who do you think gets the extension first, DK or Deebo? Oh, I think Deebo
the situation with Deebo is, I think there's something else there that we don't know. Because why was Deebo asking for a trade? I do not think that was about money. San Francisco can pay him.
I thought it was about some usage too. I thought he didn't like being used as a running back as much.
So I don't know. Like, now at the same time, is Seattle going through a rebuild?
It depends on what happens with quarterbacks. Because if Baker Mayfield becomes available, you could see Baker Mayfield going to Seattle, being a starter.
Oh, let's talk about that.
All right. So the next topic is pending suspensions.
We got a couple.
We do, so...
Do the small ones first.
All right.
The one that, like, definitely is cut and dry.
All right. Due to an assault that occurred during Pro Bowl week, Alvin Kamara is bracing for a 6-game suspension from the league for violating its personal conduct policy.
A proven assault.
So,
let's be honest here.
Yeah. that was, I think assault is putting it lightly. That was like pulverizing the guy.
Good Lord.
Yeah. He's going to be smacked with a 6-game suspension.
6 games. Easy.
And Calvin Ridley suspended for the year for gambling. Let's not forget that.
In games he didn't play.
Man.
And
just give the phone to somebody else. Have somebody else log in. Come on, Calvin, be smarter. And then the big one is the Cleveland Browns and their new quarterback, who is the adult in the room. He has settled 20 of the 24 cases again. He settled 20 of 24, not all of them.
Oh.
Still 4 pending, especially the 2 new ones. And earlier today, Watson began the disciplinary hearing for the league with the league's disciplinary officer, Sue L. Robinson, to determine if he violated the league's personal conduct policy. So the NFL is recommending an indefinite suspension, no shorter than 1 season. The NFL Players Association has begun fighting on behalf of Watson,
which is
saying that exactly, no matter their feelings toward him as an individual, but they don't think there's any precedent for it.
Here's the thing, and this is the one time I'm going to speak on this. We try not to get into this. Let's just say this. In terms of the situation, Deshaun, 24 cases, and you got massages from all these women? That's not a good look.
Whose cases weren't filed. Yeah.
That's not a good look. That's not a good... my brain, when I hear that, if I hear a regular man who didn't get these cases put against him, let's be honest, let's just think of this clearly. If you heard of somebody who had 30 plus... around 30. Let's say around 30. Different masseuses, whatever. In, let's say, a 2-year span. I think this is just a 1-year span, but let's say a 2-year span.
It's 2.
Let's say a 2-year span. 30 different therapists. You think something weird's going on? Am I wrong?
No, not at all. Something weird. Now, when there's somebody who's a celebrity professional athlete, there's different angles to it, because you're thinking, well, if it's an athlete, they're rich and they're famous, they have money, so maybe there's the
30.
I know, it's almost like where there's smoke, there's fire. It's like there's way too many not to believe at least a couple of these are true.
The reason why I say this is from what I know about it, and from what I know by most people who get massages on a regular occasion. So if you're not that, I get a massage once every 4 months person, then it's okay. Then that's most likely, that makes sense why you'd get a different masseuse, because, that's 4 times a year. But 30 in a 2-year span, if you're getting it that often, and here's the thing, he probably went to them one or a few of these more than once. When you're getting it that often, you normally find one that you're real comfortable with, and you just stick with that one. It's like a hairdresser or a doctor.
Yeah.
So that right there in my brain tells me something's off there. The problem here is he wasn't charged with anything. And I know with this situation, it's hard to charge somebody with something. So it's with the NFL, I mean, is it the whole aspect, does this person take the moral high ground, or they go the burden of proof? And that's the conversation that they're having right now, possibly.
And what makes everything more challenging is there is very little consistency from the league as far as punishments. You have Calvin Ridley with a year for the suspension. You have Alvin Kamara only getting 6 games for beating a guy's face in. You have, a couple of years ago, you had Robert Kraft caught on camera with at the massage parlor, but what was his consequence or penalty?
Nothing.
I don't think there was anything.
Nothing. So
where's the consistency?
Here's the problem also. Technically, if you're going this route with this, technically they do have precedent. Technically, they do have something to go by. Suspending somebody without them being charged, they've done it 3 times already.
Did they do that to Zeke?
They did to Zeke, and they did to someone else. And I think they did to 2 other people, but they did to one other person and then Zeke. It was Ben Roethlisberger. And how many games? That was 6 games for both. So
yep,
that's probably what the Players Association is going to argue. You've done this twice for someone who was not charged with a crime, and in both times it was 6 games. I'm not saying I'm advocating for Deshaun Watson to only get 6 games. I'm just saying
right
what I've seen.
What we've seen over the years and what the NFL has done. So it does not sound like there's going to be any quick resolution to this. It sounds like it's going to be possibly a couple more weeks until they can decide and come to an agreement on it.
Well, they didn't even get finished with the whole hearing in a day.
They're still going. So to all of you with early fantasy drafts, good luck to the Browns. Have fun recovering from this.
This being said, let's say he gets the full year. Let's say he gets half the year. The Browns have another problem. They have a quarterback that could possibly win them games on their squad, and he don't want to play for them.
Well, they didn't want him to play for him, so the feeling is mutual.
Which is dumb. I'm sorry. I think it's dumb on both sides, don't you?
It starts with the Cleveland organization, because it sounds like they were working on replacing Mayfield. I mean, remove extension talk. Let him play out the 5th year, see what he's got. They wanted to go for the opportunity with Watson instead.
No, and that's fine. But what I mean is, if you know the suspension is coming, you need to, one, Baker, you want to trade. Right now, there's a sour taste in everyone's mouth for you. Not only did you not look good at many points last year, and I get it, you were injured, but number 2, you have an attitude that everyone believes is a problem. Now, I don't know if it's truly a problem, but that's what the league believes right now. That's what people outside the league believe right now, that you're an arrogant little prick.
Yep, but the Browns' teammates, Baker's teammates in Cleveland, have come out and showed support for him. That
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, Baker, go out there. First of all, Cleveland, you need someone that can win you games. And Jacoby Brissett is not the guy. We saw what happened in Miami. And I get Miami had an atrocious coaching staff. Yes, I said it. Miami had an atrocious coaching staff. But Tua came in and won games. And everybody wants to poo-poo on Tua, and he had the same team as you. So what makes Cleveland think that Jacoby Brissett is going to win games in Cleveland when he couldn't in Miami? And then number 2, Baker, go show your stuff. Go win games. Go look good. So that way, you can make a team think, you know something, I'm going to trade for that man. Somehow Carson Wentz last year made the Washington football team or Commanders or wherever think that they needed to trade for him.
First time.
Somehow Carson Wentz made that happen by playing in games. Baker, go play in games and prove what you are.
Well, there's interest for him, but Cleveland's not willing to pick up enough of his contract to get him moved.
I get that.
So I think that's part of the problem.
Right.
And recently, Baker was asked about any potential reconciliation with the Browns, and he said it's highly unlikely. And he said in order for there to be any type of reconciliation, it would require work from both sides. And he was alluding to the Browns organization has not reached out to him. So, I mean, in this case, the ball's in Cleveland's court, and they got...
And they're done.
If Deshaun Watson is suspended, the best case for Cleveland would be to have Baker Mayfield play out his 5th and final year.
Yes.
Up his trade value. He knows the system. He knows the offense. He can win you games. He took you to the playoffs. He was the first Browns quarterback to take you to the playoffs in 18 years. He was the first Browns quarterback to win a playoff game in 26 years.
And with that said, doesn't that help you, Cleveland? If Baker comes out and plays well, don't you get a higher pick? I get it. If he doesn't play well, then you don't. You get nothing. But at the same time, something, right now, I don't think his stock could be any lower, and you don't want to pick up the contract. So, do something.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned contract, because immediately that got me thinking of Cleveland's was pretty sure Deshaun was going to get suspended, because what's his cap hit for this year, or what's his salary for this year?
$1.
$1 million, I think.
I know, it's $1 million.
What? Yeah, $1 million this year. The rest of his $230 million fully guaranteed contract is going to be in future years. I mean, outside of the signing bonus.
That's why Goodell should have kicked this bucket to next year and screwed Cleveland royally.
Man, but if Deshaun Watson gets suspended for just one season, that would mean it would have been 2 full seasons since he's played an NFL snap.
Right. I was going to ask that, how rusty do you think he's going to be when he does come back and play?
Is there going to be rust there? Is he going to be as sharp? Because you think he played football for how many consecutive years? All year round? Had games?
Not to mention, I mean, he was going to be coming in and playing with brand new receivers. Amari Cooper.
Donovan Peoples-Jones. Who's they?
Squad?
David Bell. Who's their tight ends?
David Njoku.
There we go. Yeah, the guy they franchised.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
A whole new crew. He's never played a snap with these guys before.
Like who? I mean, I know he was really good, in Houston, but who's to say that he's going to be really good in Cleveland? Who's to say that's going to happen?
Yeah, that's the risk that Cleveland is taking, not only by giving him that massive, fully guaranteed contract, which, with the 2 new cases that came out, bring it up to a total of 24. Those 2 new cases may be a way for them to get out of that contract, because they were brought out after he signed. So that could be a way out for them. But you're thinking, if Deshaun Watson gets suspended for any more than a year, it would be the most Browns thing ever, because you got rid of the quarterback who took you to the playoffs, who could have been a franchise type quarterback, but you deemed him immature. I mean, does he have some things to work on? Probably does. But when you look at last season, he was playing his heart out. He was coming out. He had an injury to his throwing shoulder, right? Is that,
no?
Am I remembering that right? It was the other shoulder.
Not
Either shoulder, it's going to affect the throwing. But he's going out there battered, and he's getting hit and knocked around. I think it was. I'd have to double check that. But
I've separated
he's
my
coming
shoulder
out there
before. That don't feel good.
No, can you imagine having defensive linemen coming down on you?
No, I don't want to do that.
Can you imagine throwing a football 40 yards with a separated shoulder on the opposite shoulder? Still, throwing a football 40 yards would hurt.
I can't imagine it. That's the thing.
And you look at what he put into the Browns last year, and this is the treatment that he gets in return.
No, he had a torn labrum.
That sounds worse.
It does. And of course, it never healed. It never got healed throughout the year.
He never had a chance to heal. He was always out there and playing. So, in this case, I would support more Baker Mayfield and think that the Browns didn't give him a chance. I want him to go to another team, and I want him to prove that Cleveland made the absolutely wrong decision by trading for Deshaun Watson.
Well, let's be honest. How dumb, in my opinion, I'm just saying in your opinion, because you know how in my opinion I've already spoken about, how dumb is Washington now? Where they probably could have paid less of a price for Baker Mayfield. And who would you rather? Baker Mayfield or Carson Wentz? That's not even a question, is it?
Well, it's not an easy one, that's for sure.
Would you rather Carson Wentz? I wouldn't.
Maybe 2000, what was it, 17?
No. Right now, who would you rather, Baker Mayfield or Carson Wentz?
If Baker passes the physical, I'd go for Baker.
Exactly. All right. Is that all we got, or do we got something else?
Let's see. I got one more for you.
Uno mas.
One more. And it's going to be, which do you think is the biggest lie?
Okay.
All right. So first, we have Davante Adams when he says that as far as talents and ability, Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers really similar.
Okay. Let's go to the next
so that's
one.
number one. Number two is Tyreek Hill. During the same interview where he was comparing Mahomes and Tua, he was also saying that he was underutilized in the Kansas City offense last year.
Okay.
And to give a little bit of context to that real quick, he averaged a career high in targets per game and receptions per game throughout the year. So just to put that out there. And then the third and final one is Chase Claypool saying he definitely thinks he's a top 3 receiver in the league.
Chase Claypool is not a top 3 receiver in the league. Sorry.
Is that your answer for biggest lie?
That's straight up my answer. Like, Chase Claypool needs to go sit down somewhere and stop celebrating during the 2-minute drill.
Oh, see, in this scenario, I get why Chase Claypool says that.
Yeah,
right?
Confidence
I get
is
it.
fine, but it's still a lie. Just being confident,
It's a lie.
The
I know,
Aaron
but-
Rodgers one is the least lie out of this. Because, I mean, Tyreek Hill, get the F out of here.
I think Tyreek Hill is the biggest lie because he had a career high in targets at
And he probably
159.
could have been used a little bit more, unlike Claypool, who need to sit down and shut up.
Nah, I'm going for Tyreek Hill.
Chase Claypool.
What we'll do is, when we're putting this episode out, we'll put the question out there on social media to see what everybody else thinks. Which do you
you
think
agree Aaron Rodgers
is the biggest lie?
The Aaron Rodgers one is the least lie out of this.
Not that I think it's true.
It's the least lie out of these 3.
Yeah, it's a good way to say it. I mean, I get why Devontae Adams did it. I get why Chase Claypool did it. I don't know why Tyreek Hill said he's
I
underutilized.
get why Tyreek Hill did it. I really do. Because he is a self-important A-hat.
All right.
I don't, if you guys don't realize, I do not like Tyreek Hill. I just don't. But, words of wisdom, my guy, words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom. We have 4th of July coming up, so celebrate safely. Keep all your fingers and toes. Be safe. Be responsible.
And my words of wisdom are, never stop believing. As the song says, don't stop believing. I ain't a small town girl. I ain't in no hotel room with the smell of wine or anything like that. But I've seen 3 of my 4 sports teams win championships in the last 5 years. Hoping for a 4th.